Hey Frag fam, what is going on? I hope you guys are all doing well today. Elliot here, welcome back to the Fragrance Well. So I was looking through my cabinet back there the other day and I was thinking to myself, how many fragrances do I have that I would consider easy to wear, guaranteed to work, something most men can pull off for the majority of the situations where they would wear a fragrance. I didn't get to a total number, but I do have over 50 of them. And so what I decided to do was, out of 50 plus fragrances that are guaranteed to work, these are 10 of the best that I have. It's not a ranked list, and honestly, there's probably some other ones I could swap out for this list on a given day. I just kind of went with my gut at the time, but I got 10 fragrances here that are guaranteed to work, and these are 10 of the best out of 50 plus in my collection. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. Before we do, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, 10 fragrances guaranteed to work. We're gonna kick it off with one from Hermes, and this is Terre d'Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver. Terre d'Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver. So, the thing about Terre d'Hermes in general, I think the original EDT DNA is good enough to work for this list, but that scent is a little bit rough for some people. So I see this as a version of Terre d'Hermes that is a little bit more palatable to the masses. So you still got the slightly rindy orange, grapefruit-like citrus. The vetiver in this is definitely ramped up. Terre d'Hermes, kind of known as a vetiver fragrance, it's ramped up quite a bit in this, and it's a little bit more of that floral, clean vetiver, not quite as much as that smoky, earthy vetiver that you might experience in the original Terre d'Hermes. I don't know if there's any benzoin still in here because that's also one of the key notes, but it's basically a cleaner, a little bit less dirty, actually a lot less dirty version of the Terre d'Hermes DNA. And so therefore it's a little bit more accessible to more people. So therefore, in terms of it being guaranteed to work, this is probably a better option. And a little bit of a side note to this, I don't know if anyone else has ever said this, but I kind of noticed it when I got this. I'm a little bit of a late bloomer when it comes to getting this fragrance. I've only had it a couple of months. I feel like this is actually the predecessor to Eau Givre, because I feel like there's a lot of similarities between Eau Givre and this one, where Eau Givre, it's not quite as orange centered. Again, that one's a little bit more of like a grapefruit juice smell, and then added something like juniper to kind of give it a brighter, cooler feeling compared to this one. But that's just my thoughts on that, and that's not really relevant to the video. I just thought I'd put that out there, but guaranteed to work for sure. I think this is one of the easier versions of Terre d'Hermes to wear, at least that you can still get your hands on. So once again, from Hermes, we got Terre d'Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver. All right, next one's coming from Cedrat, and this is Ambassador. Cedrat Ambassador. So, big shout out to the brand for sending this to me last year. I still say that out of all the fragrances that have been sent to me, which there's not a lot of them, but this is still by far one of the best ones. Why? Because it's really that good. I mean, you literally can use this for anything and definitely guaranteed to work as far as I'm concerned. What does this basically smell like? I would call it a fruitier, less spicy, less aggressive version of Sauvage. And along with that fruitiness being kind of a key difference between this and Sauvage, the other big difference is not so much an ambroxan balm like Sauvage is. This one makes a good use of teak wood. So if you're a fan of that candle from Bed Bath & Beyond, what is it, teak wood intense, mahogany teak wood intense, you get a little bit of that kind of teak wood smell in this. So that's the main way to, I guess, to compare it if you happen to be a fan of that candle. I know not everybody is, but I'm just throwing that out there. But yes, indeed, this fragrance here, super easy to wear. Absolutely can be used for anything, can work for any man as far as I'm concerned. So I do think this fragrance is guaranteed to work. Definitely can garner some good compliments. It lasts all day if that's a concern. Projects nicely. Don't overspray it. You can go easy on the trigger with this one. It projects very nicely. So once again, from Cedrat, this is Ambassador. All right, this next one's going to be coming from Arabian Oud. We've got Diwan. Arabian Oud Diwan. All right, now Arabian Oud has got a lot of fragrances. Allegedly, it's one of the largest fragrance catalogs on the planet. Therefore, in terms of this category, they've got plenty that will work. Out of the ones I've come across, I think this is one of the best ones. The moment I got my nose on this fragrance a while back, I instantly knew like this is just one of those fragrances that's guaranteed to work for any man in any situation. You can use this for whatever, and it will be a successful wear, in my opinion. What you're gonna get from this scent, it's fresh and spicy and woody. And it's just very, very simple. Very much done in that Middle Eastern style, if you know what I mean by that. You know, some Middle Eastern fragrances that kind of have an artificial smell to them have a certain way about them that a lot of people do like. And this one is done very, very well, and it doesn't smell cheap, in my opinion, because sometimes that can smell cheap. It's not the case with Diwan here. But yeah, you can use this for absolutely anything. I kind of see it, it's best used as an office fragrance. It is a little bit classy, but not too much. So you can still use it for any situation, and this fragrance is absolutely guaranteed to work. And compliments also, not gonna be a big problem with this unless you look a mess. That's a different subject altogether. Once again, from Arabian Oud, we've got Diwan. All right, next one's gonna be coming from Chanel, and this is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Do I really need to go into a whole lot of detail as to why this is guaranteed to work? In my opinion, still one of the best blue fragrances on the market, particularly when you're talking about the bigger designer brands. I mean, come on. This stuff here is just proven to be, you know, a perfect fragrance for just about any gentleman in any situation. Cedarwood, sandalwood, a little bit of a grapefruit-like citrus, lavender, some other aromatic touches to it, a slight smokiness. This is masterful, in my opinion. I don't really need to go into a whole lot of detail. It's Bleu de Chanel, it works. In terms of the concentrations, you just pick the one that works the best for you. There's one that I think can work for any man. For me, it's gonna be Parfum all day long. Once again, from Chanel, this is Bleu de Chanel Parfum. All right, next one's gonna be coming from Mancera, and this is Intense Cedrat Boise. Mancera Intense Cedrat Boise. So, you know, Cedrat Boise, already a super popular choice, particularly for the reason I'm talking about on this channel, on this video, should I say. It's a guaranteed fragrance for a lot of people. This is going to be a slightly richer version of that. You're gonna get lemon, fruity, citrus. You're gonna get a little bit of vanilla in here. You're gonna get some leather. There's some woody facets to it, some florals. It's basically a richer, more decadent version of the original Cedrat Boise, which is so popular for so many people. And again, if you're familiar with that Cedrat Boisi DNA, you know it is one that is pretty much guaranteed to work for a lot of people. A lot of people live and die by Cedrat Boisi. I'm not the biggest fan of Cedrat, but I don't dislike it. If I were gonna have a version, it is gonna be this one, which is why I have this one. And even though this is a fragrance I don't really think about wearing a lot, if I'm in the mood for wearing something that I haven't worn in a while and I don't really know what that is, and I happen to see this one, I tend to just go ahead and wear it because it always does work. It always is a pleasant wearing experience. So I don't know why I don't reach for it more, but fragrance works. And as you can see, I actually got a little bit of a dent there. Yes, this is a smaller bottle, but a dent for me with my big collection and how I try to wear something almost something different almost every day, a dent means something for me in my collection. So once again, from Mancera, this is Intense Cedrat Boisi. Moving on, next one's gonna be coming from Ormond Jane. This one here is Montabaco Intensivo. Ormond Jane, Montabaco Intensivo. Welcome back to the channel, Montabaco. I haven't talked about this in a while because I kind of have worn it out in terms of talking about it on the channel, but it's a great one for this subject matter because again, absolutely can work for just about anything, guaranteed to work. Now I will say this much, there's a little bit of a, shall I say, this one is a little bit classy. It's a little bit more professional smelling. So, you know, maybe not the best leisure scent, and maybe even for younger guys, not gonna be the first choice, but even so, if you choose to wear it, I think it'll work out for you. This is going to be cooling notes, fresh, chilled air, a little bit herbaceous, a little bit green. There's a good amount of juniper in this. There's tea notes in here, giving this kind of a calming sense. Very clean tobacco, loads of isogamma super, giving a clean, woody, kind of cedar-like feel. And there's some sweetness in here as well to balance all of that out. This scent is outstanding. It's quite unique as far as I know. It only smells like other fragrances in the Montabaco line, or, you know, at least this variation of it is meant to be the intense version. And I need to check out some of the newer ones that have come out. I've heard those are quite awesome. But that being said, I do think this is overall the best one in terms of it being a fragrance that's just guaranteed to work for everybody in any situation for the most part. Once again, from Ormond Jane, this is Montabaco Intensivo. All right, next one's gonna be coming from Amouage, and this is Reflection Man. Amouage Reflection Man. And this one's guaranteed to work for any man, because if you're gonna wear a fragrance that's floral heavy, this is still one of the easiest and best ones to pull off, in my personal opinion. This smells like a CEO's specialized soap in his private bathroom. That's what it smells like to me. That's just a picture that comes into mind. What you get from this is a collection of white florals, a little bit of neroli to add to that soapiness here, a little bit of a fresher spice, and a little bit of a bitter orange kind of feeling. And it's a little bit creamy, a slightly sweet, and woody as well. Good amount of sandalwood too to add to that woody creaminess that this scent has. Obviously, one of the most popular ones from Amouage for that reason, and mainly because of its ease of use, especially out of the more, shall we say, traditional Amouage fragrances, which tend to push the envelope a little bit more in terms of being acceptable or wearable to the masses. The newer ones are kind of playing to that a little bit more, but out of those older classic ones, I think this is still the most popular one for that reason, and I think it's guaranteed to work for anybody. Once again, from Amouage, this is Reflection Man. All right, next one's gonna be coming from Hugo Boss, and this is Reversed. Hugo Boss Reversed. I haven't talked about this one in a while, but in terms of an affordable fragrance that works for this category, I still think this is probably the best one, in my opinion, in my cabinet. To be fair, I don't have a lot of cheaper fragrances like this, or at least that I like to kind of talk about, but this one here is really, really good. You're gonna get grapefruit, salty grapefruit. It's a little bit aquatic and clean woods. Pretty much what I get from this scent, and man, you know what? It just simply works. I tend to kind of go for this for the gym mostly, but you can absolutely use this for anything. This is kind of a really good grab and go scent, and the fact that it's a little bit more on the affordable side from discounters. I think you can even get it at rack stores too, but primarily from discounters means it's something you can just use to your heart's content. Great fragrance from Hugo Boss here. Once again, this is Hugo Boss's Reversed. All right, next one's coming from Creed, and this is Aventus. Creed Aventus. Yeah, I know in the fragrance world we're sick of Aventus, but I mean, at the end of the day, it still works, man. Especially for a list like this. And if I'm talking about 10 of the best, I kind of felt like I needed to put it on here. I didn't, well, you know, to be fair, I didn't have to, but again, I picked the ones that kind of stood out to me first, and Aventus is obviously that. So pineapple, citrus, bergamot, ambergris, dried woods, birch, smoky woody pineapple fragrance basically is what you're getting from this. You know, Aventus, obviously one of the easiest fragrances to wear for men on the planet, in my opinion. One of the most popular ones, in my opinion. Cloned to death, copycatted to death, inspired by to death, and there's a reason for that. That ease of use, I think, is one of the key factors as to why this fragrance is what it is. One of the most loved and one of the most hated on the planet. Once again, from Creed, this is Aventus. All right, last but certainly not least, coming from Narciso Rodriguez, we got Bleu Noir for him, Eau de Parfum. Narciso Rodriguez, Bleu Noir for him, Eau de Parfum. And in my opinion, if you're talking about clean woods that give you a variety of woody notes, all the way from fresh to a little bit more barky, and it's all balanced together, that can always work for any man, in my opinion. This is basically a woody fragrance that is giving you a spectrum of woody notes, all the way from a fresh woodiness, almost even a soapy woodiness, all the way down to a little bit more of a barky, smoky, earthy woodiness. But it's all balanced in a way that just can kind of work for anything. This is meant to be a blue fragrance, and frankly, I haven't smelled anything even close to this scent as far as I can remember, and it definitely works as a blue scent, which is meant to be something that you can use for anything, appeals to a lot of people, and guaranteed to work for most guys. That is certainly the case with this Bleu Noir fragrance. And shout out to the Bleu Noir line, because I think between the EDT, this one, and the Parfum, it's giving you a variety of that, where any guy can find at least one of them that would work for him, particularly for this scenario. So once again, from Narciso Rodriguez, this is Bleu Noir for him, Eau de Parfum. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Again, out of 50 plus fragrances in my collection that are guaranteed to work for most guys, that was 10 of the best that I have in my collection. So let me know down in the comments below, what are some of your best fragrances in your collections that you think are guaranteed to work, not just for yourself, but for a majority of guys. I would love to see what you guys have to say. And let me know what you think about the choices I put on this list if you're familiar with them. Thanks again for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate you all. Please remember to be well and smell well. And I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.